The following is the extract of a course linked in the description.
Hello guys, this is Krishna Caesar, and basically what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna walk you through FL Studio. We're just gonna look at the interface today, just for you to be a little bit more comfortable with the software, with the platform. So you decided to select FL Studio, or maybe you have another DAW that you're gonna be using. A lot of the a lot of those DAWs, like they kind of do all the same thing. The approach, usually the way of doing things might change, but at the end of the day, they're working towards doing the same thing. So FL Studio, I might be biased, but FL Studio is probably one of the, if not the software there, that I believe that's the easiest to learn. It might look like a toy to when you open it, compared to maybe Logic or Pro Tools, but it is very powerful and at the same time very easy to use as well. Okay, so to start up here, when we come up here, what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna give you a quick tour, and throughout all those videos, there will be things that I'm gonna repeat just to make sure to point out to you as well. But if you come up here on the screen, you might get intimidated with all those buttons. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna close out those windows here. And I'm just gonna push this here to the very end, and we're just gonna be left with um, the top bar over here. Okay, so over here we have menus. Over here is pretty extensive. I usually don't go there that much. One of the things that I really like about FL Studio is there is so many ways of doing the same thing, right? And you're gonna find that out when we're gonna be going through the video. So unless you really have something specific to really come up here, you're looking for an option that you can only find here most of the time, you're not gonna do anything here. This panel here is probably gonna be your best friend, especially when you're learning at the very beginning. But as well, I have about 20 years of experience on FL Studio. I still use that, right? Over here we have the main volume. I usually don't touch this. A lot of the volume change that I do is actually on the mixer. Over here is gonna be the pitch, and this pitch over here change the pitch of the whole song. You might not want to do that most of the time when you're gonna be working on a song. There will be maybe an instrument or a certain pattern that you want to change the pitch, but not all the song at the same time, unless maybe the song was written, in A minor, and you want to switch it to another key. This is where you could use it, but most of the time you don't usually do that. In this section over here, this is where we have the transportation, right? So one thing to keep in mind, FL Studio is a pattern based DAW, digital audio workstation. So when you're making music, you're actually making music for a small pattern, right? And basically later on, what you actually gonna be doing, you're gonna have a whole range of patterns that you made, and you're just gonna be putting those patterns like a puzzle. And it's really easy to it's really fun to do, because you could be that you made a pattern but you don't want to use it anymore. It's still there, you could come back to it in the future. It's really flexible. Okay, this over here is gonna allow you to play the song or play the pattern, stop the song or stop the pattern, and record. You can record either audio, you can record notes, or you can record everything at the same time. It's all available there for you. Okay, over here some of those buttons, we're gonna be coming back to that as we go along with the other videos. But the one on top here usually deal a little bit more with recording. So as an example, we have the metronome here. We have also this button here that actually waits for an input for you before it starts the song. So a lot of the buttons that you have here comes into play when you're recording. You're actually just gonna set it once, but later on, you actually don't need to touch it anymore. Okay, and we have some other buttons here that we have available, and we might use some of them, especially like this one over here is gonna scroll the playlist as the cursor is moving to in the song. So this is something that you could use as a cue, but most of the time, you might not want to bother with that. When we come up here, we have basically this is going to be the timing on the song. You have different ways of representing that. It could be that you representing bar and beats, or you represented that by time. Usually, I just leave it by time because I want to know how long is the song, right? So this is where I'm gonna have it. This is where I'm gonna be able to select the different patterns, and we're gonna come back to it. And this as well is gonna be really helpful when we're making our songs, especially to quantize, especially for hip hop, because everything is on the 4 by 4 time signature. So most of the time, a lot of time, it can change a lot of times. Sometimes it can have a different time signature, but most of the time 4 by 4. And this is where you're going to be able to, if you record, and because you recorded that you recorded a certain instrument, and they could be a little bit off, this is what's going to allow you maybe to quantize that, or to make sure when you're recording from at the first place, it is recorded on the right with the right quantization. Okay, so as we move forward here, over here we're gonna have the monitor and also a peak meter. This we're gonna see a little bit more as well later on. This is where you're gonna be able to see the different resources that you're using right now. So all the plugins that you're using are gonna be consuming CPU from your computer. So the more plugins that you use, the more your computer is gonna be working, right? It's gonna be overworked. So this is where you're gonna be able to see if you still have quite a bit of resources left. Okay, we have additional buttons here, but those ones, like I say, it could be that you really come back to it. You use it here and there, but usually not that much. The ones that would be a little bit more important would be the ones over here. So let's have a look at them. As you saw at the very beginning, I had my windows there and I clicked on them, right? They didn't disappear, they just been hidden for a little while, and basically we can just have them come back by clicking on this again. Just when you click on this button here, look at this over here in the hint panel. You're gonna see that it does provide us with a shortcut. So if I click again here, you're gonna see over there the shortcut is letting us know it is F5, right? I don't Personally, I don't actually use shortcuts that much. I should be. There is a couple of shortcuts that I use, for things that I tend to do a lot of times. But for many software, I try not to remember shortcuts because there are just so many software. If I need to remember all the shortcuts, like, I'm not going anywhere, right? So most of the time I just come here and I just press it. So this is where we have this is our playlist over here. This is the piano roll. We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna have our channel rack over here that we have enabled. We're gonna have our mixer over here, and this one is for our browser, but this one I had minimized that, so I'm just going to open it over here, and we have our browser open over here. This is where you could go and look for some songs, for some samples and all that. Okay, the few other things that we have here just enable you to select different things in your project. So the number one here, the first one we have over here is going to allow you to select patterns in your song. So if you have several patterns here and you want to maybe listen to it and maybe just go through them, this allows you to do that. The other one over here allows you to pick different plugins that you have installed on your software. So I have a little bit more plugins installed over here, but we're gonna be able to dive into that when actually, do I have, oh, looks like my plugins are not showing up here. Those are just the default plugins. Anyway, I'm gonna set it up after this video over here. So this is what we have, and over here the last one is gonna be for the tempo. Okay, so that is the overview of FL Studio. just for you to grasp a little bit what we have here. So don't be alarmed if you're seeing all those buttons. And we're gonna come back to that. There will be things that we're gonna use more than others, and you're gonna become really familiar with the software. So I'm gonna leave it here, and I'm gonna talk to you in another video. Guys, if you enjoy the content, share, like, and subscribe to the channel. I also wanted to let you know about my free mastering mini course that's going to be available there in the description. You're also going to get with that free banger drums kit, right, with some crazy samples. Basically, you're going to be able to make some crazy drum patterns. Okay, so the link is going to be in the description. It's going to let you know how you're going to have access to it, and I will talk to you in another video.